The Square Ball Podcast.
Well, hello to you and welcome to the show. This one is available in your podcast app. You will find it on YouTube as well. This show is brought to you with Levi Solicitors. There's a discount for all their legal services, 10% off your legal fees on their full range of services. You'll find that on their website, which I'll give you the address of in a second. Michael, can you add some colour and depth to the message that I've just delivered to the listener/viewer?
Commercial dispute resolution.
Yep.
So one of the things, probate, wills, conveyancing, lasting powers of attorney.
Yeah. It's not the ones that expire, is it? It's the ones that last.
These will last.
And then there's more than one of them.
Yeah, they are. Correct. You can make it's financial stuff and health stuff. They're your powers. There may be more, but they're the two I know about.
Right.
So stick with those for now. The big two when it comes to the lasting powers.
Right. Beautiful. Well delivered. You'll get full details and terms on the website, which is levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Or if you call them, just tell them that we sent you. Dan here with Michael and with Chris Mack as we round up the latest from the world of Leeds United. There's another square ball update. What's happened since we played? Well, we've all obviously been riding an emotional positive wave since. I've been happy. Have you been happy? I've been happy.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Tuesday night.
It was nice, wasn't it? It was right in the Goldilocks zone of what we want, I think, out of a home game, as we were saying on the match ball.
I've started doing a bit of preemptive propaganda for next week. It's weird. I feel like our perception of Middlesbrough's performance was better than the early stuff I've seen of their fans.
But that's a little bit like when we've had the lads on from Not the Top 20 who said, like, lads, you're really good. Just appreciate that you're really good. And we're like, yeah, but we're wrapped up in 2 decades of existential terror and dread.
They just seem to think they played badly, where I was like, no, you tried. You really tried. You tried very hard.
We made them look badly.
The bar is through the floor when it comes to performances at Elland Road against Leeds, though, because most teams just don't really engage. And especially, like, it was a bit of a palate cleanser after Saturday when Derby, whatever they tried to do, and then played an actual coherent team in Middlesbrough. Yeah. Who at times, like, there was a couple of overlaps, or they had 3 or 4 men over, and if the pass had made it, it could have been quite dangerous. So yeah, they were good.
But we did restrict them to fairly rare occasions, I think. So yeah, credit to us for being super. And well, what else happened? Derby did go to Burnley, as we were hoping they would, and grew up and stopped Burnley scoring. Unfortunately, Millwall didn't grow up and see off their dam building chief with a home win. They lost at home to Sheffield United, who are now top again.
No, whatever.
Not bothered.
As long as we're second, it's fine. I was just saying before we recorded that my dream scenario this year is that us and Sheffield United pull massively away, so there's no real jeopardy about promotion, but we can enjoy a little title race back and forth, because that's enough jeopardy without it being actually
consequential.
Yeah. It's a bit like scoring that third against Middlesbrough. It's just a little nice thing to have. The 2-1 would have been fine, but you know, just to give it a bit of a flourish at the end.
And we're in exactly the same position as we were this time last year, Chris. Is that right?
We are a position ahead.
But points-wise the same.
Points-wise the same.
So
yeah.
Played 20, 41 points. Goal difference last season was 16 at this stage. We are plus 22 at the minute, so we're slightly better off in that regard. We've conceded fewer goals this season. Scored the same. Yeah, 41 points, that's funny, isn't it? But Ipswich were on 48, Leicester were on 49 at this point, so we're already trying to claw back effectively like a 3-game deficit at that point, 20 games into the season, which is it's an awful lot to do.
It's just a lot of draws this year that has made the difference. When you look at games lost at the top, it's about the same, but at this point last year, between the 40 games between Leicester and Ipswich, they'd only drawn 4 of them. So it was a bit of a weird season for them in that regard.
I mean, what did they end up on in the end? Like, neither of them broke 100 points.
No, they didn't, did they?
So, you know, it averaged itself out.
So what you're saying is somebody can look forward to a post-Christmas collapse, and we know that's not going to be us.
Do we know that?
Yeah.
We know? Okay.
Nailed on.
I mean, Sunderland are in pretty poor form, and they're still 4th, and they're only 4 points back from us. So
they were a few clear of us not long ago, though. It feels like,
yeah,
because they'd had that good start, but they've just started drawing a load of games.
No, but I'm with you. I just like to make it so we've always got the luxury of losing a game in the second half of the season and knowing that as long as we bounce back and it doesn't turn into a full-scale collapse afterwards, that, yeah, the occasional defeat may come, but we're fine. afterwards. I don't want to be sad and angsty and miserable in the second half of the season.
Yeah, we don't need the upset of it, and also the stress of seeing teams fail to drop points either. Whereas, there's loads of drop points kicking around this year.
Did we fully figure out why Neil Harris is leaving Millwall? We were just sort of wildly speculating that he's just a bit of a tosser. But is there more to it than that?
He called his own fans thickos.
Right. Which is his opinion.
Hey, some people are brave and tell the truth. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So he was talking about the amount of players they had injured. So Tanganga and Jake Cooper and some other guy they named.
SA was the other guy.
Some other guy.
And he said they would start for every other team in the championship. Not sure about that. But basically, that's why we lost at the weekend. And the thickos would do well to realise that, essentially. So
he's not called all their fans thickos, just suggesting that those that were getting on his back about it were thick.
Yeah, it's a strange thing to resign over. You wonder if there's more to it.
Yeah, some of the stuff, because this was kind of kicking off around when I was looking for stuff for propaganda. I don't think he'd actually resigned at the time, but there seemed to be people thinking he was on his way out when I was watching some Millwall clips about this. After he'd called them morons or whatever it was, thickos.
Sick pots.
That was Ken Bates, wasn't it? The old morons thing. But yeah, it's never a great look.
Yeah. What'll happen is they'll bring in someone else who will not do as good a job, who will leave before the end of the season, and he'll be back.
Or Steve Morrison will come back.
He's
not. In fact, he won't go back because he's never managed there, has he? But he should have done.
Neil Harris?
No, Steve Morrison's right.
Oh yeah, he managed Cardiff, didn't he? No, did he manage Millwall?
Now I'm not sure.
Ah, Jesus, who knows?
Let's just check.
It would fit.
No, he hasn't.
Even if he hasn't, it'd fit completely.
He has not managed Millwall yet. But it seems an obvious choice.
The last game Millwall won was against us.
Stupid football.
And they wouldn't have beaten us. He's right in terms of that, because who scored their goal? It was
Cooper.
It was Cooper. It was Cooper who headed across.
The old big freak headed it down, didn't he?
Tanganga scores. So yeah, they don't beat us without those two. So he's right.
Right. It's annoying, isn't it?
And Millwall fans are wrong, because they are a great bunch of lads.
Yeah.
As I always say.
Yeah.
As I always say.
Always been a fan.
It was Chris who said they were thickos.
Yeah.
I think they're all right, me.
Well, as it stands, we head in towards Christmas. I think are we feeling a little bit more comfortable? At what point do we feel comfortable? Is it when that gap opens up to a few points? If we can do that, I'm not assuming it's going to do, but I kind of am hoping.
Yeah, I feel like we've overcome in some ways a bit of a difficult start to the season as well. We've had a few tough games. We've had the starting central midfield pairing taken out of the team. We've now lost Firpo. We've had Bogle out for suspensions and injuries, and I don't know. And we feel like we've overcome some sort of tests.
Yeah, we probably didn't have as much continuity as we expected to have, which was one of the big themes in Bielsa's second season. They remember they talked a lot about continuity in terms of the coaching and playing staff. Obviously, we had it in the coaching staff. We had it in some of the playing staff, but probably not as much. But I think if you look at the next three games, so you've got Preston away, who are 14th. Then you've got Oxford at home, who are 20th, and Stoke away, who are 18th, and that takes you to halfway. So you would like to think 7 to 9 points from that, which would be at the halfway mark. If we got 9 points, that's 50 points at halfway.
Yeah.
You're at the stage of making it hard to not go up, aren't you?
Yeah.
At that point.
Part of me was almost going to joke on the match ball, but I'll save it. And obviously I've now given away said hilarious joke, but when we get to like 45 points, that we're probably going to stay up. But that was actually one of my thoughts. Was like, well, we're nearly safe when we went top at the weekend.
Take the rest of the season off.
Well, don't even suggest it. I think we got to stay. We stay focused. We stay locked in this season, Michael. Yeah. So hopefully we come out of the other side of Christmas looking good, and then we head into our long FA Cup run. Run to Wembley starts with a tie against Harrogate, which is now 5:45 on a Saturday. Thoughts on that?
It's a new one,
and that's because it's on the internet.
It's not even on proper telly.
No,
unbelievable.
The point we were one of the very, very first test games that was streamed by the FA in the FA Cup. Do you remember when we played? It was Oldham some years back, and match streaming was in its infancy at that point, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is novel." We were just on the internet.
Wow.
Are we-
Are we going to have to go through a VPN for this one, or is it just BBC in it?
If you can think of one, then let me know.
There you go.
We've not got a TV license for in here, so
Why would you say that? We don't use the TV in here. We only use it for monitoring purposes, Chris.
This is correct.
yeah, we listen to it in the radio, don't we?
That's correct. But yeah, 5:45 on a Saturday. I know it's mid-January, so everyone's kind of skint. It'll probably be cold, but at least that adds a little bit of free. And what I'm saying is people might go drinking.
Yeah, it gives you plenty of time before, doesn't it?
The away fans will be on the Pims.
Right.
I mean, yeah, they've not announced tickets prices for this yet, have they? Or have they? I might have missed it.
No, I think
it'll be cheap though, won't it?
coming soon.
Yeah, you would like to think they'd announce it soon because obviously it's January, and if you're a season ticket holder and you're in the Auto Cup scheme, you might want to know if there's 15 quid or 35 quid coming out of your account.
Things that bad, Chris?
I mean, it's just it's a long month, so people want to know.
Do you think there's kind of a nice feeling about this because they're near neighbours, but not in a mean and nasty way?
Yeah,
And
it's not going to be a spiteful atmosphere. I don't think
it'll sell out because the tickets will be an accessible price, hopefully. And mind you, it's Harrogate, and they used to high cost of living standards. So
Jesse Marsh in the Harrogate end,
right? You think?
I mean, potentially, and Brendan.
Is he driving the team bus 75 miles an hour?
But yeah, and then this will set them up for their season. Like the revenue they're going to get from this will be huge relative to the income you get in League Two.
This is true. This is so patronising, isn't it?
No, but it's true, isn't it? It genuinely is. Like they'll be looking forward to this from a financial point of view, and if they can sneak something out of it, then great. Then they get another tie, don't they? No replay, but this is the money spinner away at a big ground.
I don't think we should give them any of it. I think we should keep it all for ourselves.
Are you allowed to do that?
I think you might have to give them some.
What if we just refuse?
Just do it like old school. Just lie about the attendance like they used to do in the old days when it was like, just come cash.
But Ellen Road's full. Yeah, only 10,000.
Only 10,000 in. That's a shame.
But it was on the internet. There's loads of cameras there.
I went to see Genoa play Ascoli last year, and it was the game to get them promoted. And 3 or 4 days before the game, they just said, "Yeah, we're not selling any away tickets," because they knew they could get more Genoa fans in. So they gave them the bare minimum, which was 50 tickets, and it was just all friends and family.
Right? Is that a thing? Is it just 50 away
Seemingly
tickets?
so. Yeah, why not?
Well, should we do that? Can we do that? How do we segregate 50 Harrogate fans?
I think you could just ask them nicely.
Right.
Probably.
Could you just sit over there?
Yeah, you're all right to just go over, sit over and cause no trouble. They'd be like, yeah, that's fine.
Stick them in the director's box.
Yeah. Fair point. What else have we got then?
Speaking of tickets, in fact, the club have given people their positions on waiting lists, haven't they? This week as well.
Did we do that?
That's the thing.
I think we did that, did we? Did we cause that to happen?
I think probably give the support. I think we did mention it, but I think the Supporters Trust as well have also been.
I like to think that
badgering.
We
Angus.
lit the blue touch paper there when Angus was in, and we asked him about that.
Fine. But yeah,
So
everyone's got them.
I'm trying to hoover up some credit for
and
something.
realises they're 12,000th on the list and is like, oh well,
Yeah.
maybe one day. They've still not. It's just going on order of which you got yourself on the list. Then is it? It seems to be.
I don't know. Why asking me?
Well, you made Angus do it.
I want the credit for setting it up.
Oh right, okay. Just don't want to bring any details.
I know someone who's been on for 4 years, and they're 13 to 14,000,
Wow.
which seems a lot. But I suppose that tracks with promotion and
When people actually wanted one. Last few years, people have not been as bothered.
Well, they can come and watch Tanaka, who is the player of the month for the second month running. What a hero.
Doing well, isn't he?
He's doing well for us because thank you for buying the T-shirts.
That's not the one. You just look down then.
I looked down at it. I was just checking to see which one I had on.
And thank you for buying these T-shirts, which are still for sale.
Yeah.
These are the Bielsa. I'll go this way so people can see. The Bielsa 2.0 design.
Yeah.
K Hermoso era.
Indeed.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
And it was beautiful.
It was, wasn't it?
It was.
It can be beautiful again.
It can.
I've started to really buy into this season and enjoy it.
That's one game.
It's because we won. Yeah.
That's what you're thinking of.
It's because it's heading towards promotion.
You've got
it's
a
heading
memory
towards almost
of a
certain
fucking
promotion.
goldfish, and that's why you don't you remember how sad you were after Blackburn?
Can we clip this for after the 1-0 penalty loss on Saturday?
Yep.
Yes, you can, but I still believe just because you're negative, Nancy, it doesn't matter.
I'm enjoying it in small parts. Yes.
Yeah, why not? Ride the wave, baby. We've had a hot take, by the way. Seen the hot take that's coming? About our hot midfield. Never mind Tanaka. What about his running mate, Joe Rothwell?
Is that what you're calling him, his running mate?
Yeah.
All right. It's just he's not there. He's a man in his own right.
He's a man who runs alongside him.
Okay.
And well.
Okay. What else he got to say?
Let's have a look. So it says Joe Rothwell's marketer is the MVP. And this has been, I was going to say the subject matter here, it is hot take. And I think there were flames in the, not in the chat, but in the subject line of the email. This ruins the divisive nature of the statement, but I'll start by saying that I do think Joe Rothwell has been great for us this season, filling a huge Ampadu-shaped hole so that we haven't missed last year's Player of the Year. But who has decided that he's such a progressive midfielder, that he always looks to pass or dribble forward and can contribute to the team's goal tally from distance? It feels like the lazy tropes that Sky co-commentators trot out about players that they haven't actually seen much of. I'd love to hear from Opta Joe to see if this is backed up by any data. But from what I can see, I don't think that he passes forwards or dribbles forwards any more than his predecessor Kamara. I also don't recall any non-free kick shots this season. I'd ask for your thoughts, but you guys seem to be regurgitating the same line, so obviously being at the Kool-Aid. Opta Joe, tell me I'm right. That's from Luciano's son.
Well, isn't it great timing that I had just written a blog about Joe Rothwell and how great he's been this season? I just drank a bottle of Kool-Aid before it. We do have Opta stats from our good friend Johnny Cooper.
Yep. Only
one championship central midfielder has carried the ball further than Joe Rothwell since his first league start on October 4th. And he's carried it 1,917 metres.
Well, there you go.
So from here to Elland Road and back, I'm sure.
Facts?
Yeah, but there's 2 points to this. And the second point, I think, is fair, where people have been talking about his ability to contribute goals. I suppose he hasn't. And it seems to be Tanaka who takes more long-range shots than Rothwell does.
I think they're probably told not to, and crowded midfields and edges of areas mean that they're not. So leave Joe Rothwell alone, I say.
But he definitely is quite progressive with the ball at his feet, and you saw quite a bit of it on Tuesday night, where he carried the ball in the midfield, and sort of the tone of the blog that I wrote on Tuesday, was basically defenders can't really defend anymore, so anytime Joe Rothwell runs at them, they panic.
And there is that, genuinely, like, joking aside, there is the eye test, which is watching him. He picks it up and he will drive for the edge of the box at least twice a game.
Yeah, Glenn Kamara was very drive for the touchline, very sideways, wasn't he? Whereas, Rothwell clearly does. And I'm just looking at the stats from FB Ref. The passes into the final third, Joe Rothwell is 7th on that. And we can ignore the fact that Matt Grimes is top of that list.
Right.
Because he's a scumbag and a mummy's boy. Pascal Struijk is 2nd on that list, though, actually, which is quite interesting for when we just need to get it moving again. And as he does, he's the most likely to hit a big diag, isn't he, Pascal?
Yeah, we definitely are passing forwards, it feels like, anyway, more this
Again,
season.
You're only thinking of last game. You're not thinking
I'm not. We are trying to pass through the lines more.
You're right, we are.
It's because we never did it. We never moved the ball quick enough last year at times. Whereas I think this year we are trying to do it that much more.
Yeah.
And it's Tanaka and Rothwell, I think, who are largely responsible for that. I said that Rothwell just passes the eye test in that regard. No, it's not pumping him in from the edge of the box, but good footballer.
Yeah. And it's good that we're not in a position of feeling desperate to get Ampadu back in the team, because it tends to not end well when you've had someone out for a fairly long time and then you're like, fuck, we just need him in. We need him in because we've not got anyone else. And then they don't look as good as they should. Everyone gets annoyed at them. They're playing through injuries. They don't have time to recover. They get another injury. You kind of see it all the time, don't you, where you get in this little spiral of like desperately needing to speak to Sam Byram about it, in fact, how he's like always a bit injured but always being forced to play, and then just spirals in performances and injuries, and eventually you end up back at Leeds unable to play twice in a week because Neil Warnock broke you.
I sent a screen grab of the email that we got from Luciano's son, and I have sent it to Johnny Cooper on WhatsApp, and he has just replied actually in the last 10 or 15 minutes saying, we'll take a look today and see if we can debunk his theory. So, I
like it that he's taking it from the point of trying to debunk it as well. Yeah. He's not trying to find any supporting stats. So
Chris has already gone out there and he's saying it's nonsense.
Well, I think...
And Johnny's going to reinforce your point, I think.
It's a two-parter. So the part about goals is fair, because we have seen, and I think we have sort of talked about, that he might be more willing to shoot, and he's got 0.4 shots per game if SofaScore is to be believed. But in terms of progression, Johnny Cooper has provided the stat there. And yeah, as you say, the eye test. So there are merits to his complaint, but he is progressive. He's very progressive.
And it is quite openly a hot take as well. And if you have a hot take, even if it's total nonsense, send it in. Mailbag at thesquareball.net.
Well, Sam's got a different one.
Right.
Which is...
Is this a hot take or just a sensible take?
It's fairly hot, but this is an argument, I suppose. He says, is the Rothwell-Tanaka partnership the best centre midfield we've had since the Champions League era?
Interesting, that.
Clicking Calvin, probably.
Yeah, just edges it.
Where is that on the Nando's Peri Peri scale of hotness, which we've used before to rank players? And that's very hot.
He thinks that Rothwell Tanaka are a cut above Calvin and Click, which is, I don't know. Maybe by the end of this season,
yeah,
you could claim it.
It's not been tested in the Premier League, has it yet?
And as yet, that's achieved nothing. Right. That pairing. So we'll wait and see.
Click scored 10 goals and got 8 assists in that first Bielsa season from midfield. Which, I mean, I think he was actually underrated in those 2 years. And the year after that, he got 6 goals and 5 assists, ever present. And he was a classy player. I would be very much in favour of seeing Ampadu, Tanaka, Rothwell in a midfield 3 because it reminds me of whenever the brief start of the promotion season when we had Phillips, Forshaw and Click, and other teams just didn't get the ball or get anywhere near the Leeds box. And then obviously Forshaw just fell apart, unfortunately. But I think I'd like to see that.
Mickey Doyle being overlooked.
Right, cruelly.
Great midfield. He was good in that year.
What about Matt Grimes' Leeds era?
Well, was it an era?
I think everything's an era these days.
It was 2 or 3 games, I think, wasn't it? Before everyone went, fucking hell, this guy. Just play someone else.
Right.
Get Neil Kilkenny back.
On a similar tip, do you remember we were chatting about Malcolm Christie in relation to Derby? I think it was on Propaganda, wasn't it? Because he was on the Rams Daily Show and he was offering commentary on the Derby County approach at Ellen Road and how people were unhappy that they'd been so negative and almost conceded the game. Anyway, bit of an update on that because we found out that he'd retired due to a spinal injury that happened. Turned out it happened in training, and apparently was clattered by Lubo Mikulik doing a set piece drill in training. Two bones broken in his back in a training drill. Jesus
Christ, Lubo, the big oaf, just doesn't know his own strength. It's like John Coffey, just absolutely clueless as to the damage he can do. Yeah, I mean, Mikulik was a bit of a catastrophic footballer, wasn't he? Following the loan spell, he was just, he is kind of in keeping. It's hard to know what you'd say to someone, isn't it, if they've broken your spine in training.
Sorry about that.
You'd be like,
run it off.
Oh, mate, are you still annoyed about the spine break? Well, yeah, actually, I am. I'm quite cross about it because it was unnecessary. Yeah, but he's back playing, isn't he? We did learn Malcolm Christie. Admittedly, it's 5-a-side with some amateurs, but
more than you're doing.
Yeah, more than I'm doing. I broke my spine myself. I didn't need a big Slovakian to do it to me.
Lubo Mikulik is still playing as well.
No way.
Yep, at 41. He's playing for OFK Matuškovo, which I'm assuming is in Slovakia because they don't even have a Wikipedia.
This needs an athletic long read. What's Lubo Mikulik doing now, other than being a big oaf? Except if he heard me say that, because he is very big.
He's very big. He could have been a basketballer. I think if he was born later in life, he might have been a basketballer.
Although 6'7" is not huge for basketball. It's kind of it's like mid height for basketballers.
But someone's going to correct me on this who actually watches basketball, but I'm led to believe that one of the best players in the world is from Slovenia. Doncic,
yeah.
So, and he's only 6'6".
Yeah.
There's time yet, Lubo.
Time to assign some likes and dislikes from the past 7 days. Should be plenty to like, I would imagine, gentlemen. Some things to dislike. I'm sure we'll find something, don't we always? We should give a mention to last week's Hero of the Week winners, which was the women's team who have cemented their place at the top of the league. They're in a 12-team division only one team makes it up, so it's really bloody hard to get out of that division. But they've now won 7 in a row.
Halfway through the season, top of the league. Can Leeds United get there? Doesn't feel like it somehow, but yeah, it's in with a decent chance.
Well, the latest was a 3-0 win over Norton and Stockton Ancients. So write your own punchline there.
Some great. Even though I'm obviously hoping Leeds win, I have got a soft spot for the Cheadle Town Stingers in that division because it's a great name.
Right then, what do you like? What do you dislike from the last 7 days? Do we need to factor in the scores from like the Borough game, the Derby game? What we got?
It's interesting actually from reading people's likes and dislikes. Aronson and Verba, who were both pretty good, still continue to split people. There are still people who are like, nah, I hated it.
Refuse to give him credit. Is that Rob, by the way? Who's just
it's Rob under a series of different names, I think, yeah. Another Dan, in fact, says, Verba, you're still 2 out of 10 each game and you can thank me for that generosity.
I think that's a little bit harsh. But to be fair, I found Aronson quite frustrating. He did some good things, but he can't pick a pass.
He did some very
Brendan-y
things.
Yeah. I kind of misread this one from Jez, the CBS commentator on the visual radio, once again rhyming Tanaka with Annika, and
Tanaka
misread it thinking that he had called him Annika and just started thinking Annika Rice.
Annika Rice.
Yeah, that's immediately what I thought, Annika Rice. I would mention Annika.
Think about Annika Rice much?
I am now, more so than normal. But are you thinking about Annika Rice's bottom? That's what all the dads used to like, wasn't it? She'd get out of a helicopter in a jumpsuit.
Yeah. Good programme.
Yeah, the dads would always remark on her bottom. And that's all I've got on Annika Rice right now. Challenge Annika?
Yeah. And some other stuff.
Challenge Tanaka.
I don't remember
what
any
about
of it.
Challenge Tanaka?
Challenge Tanaka, yeah. Very good. Very good.
On that topic, in the likes, we've got Mark saying, I'm assuming this is a typo, Leeds winning and beating the Snog Masters. Obviously meant to be Smog, but I don't know, maybe they're a romantic bunch up in Middlesbrough.
Rachel's allowing herself to think about promotion for the first time this season because we're good at football. That was in the like column rather than the dislike. Well, I like that. It's good. Player of the match, by the way, should say we got, is it Dan James who took it for the Middlesbrough game?
Yes.
Right, so that's 8.84 out of 10 average score from our TSB Plus members who sent their scores in, just pipping Joe Rothwell to it. Tanaka came in 3rd place. Lowest scorer was a 6, Matteo Joseph. Verba, again, artificially marked down. I thought he had a good game, but never mind.
It's got an own goal, though.
That's true.
You can't let that go unpunished.
Yeah. There's a bit of a 50p head moment.
But you can tell we've won and it's been a really like high watermark performance because all the subs range from 6 to 6.77. Farker's got a 7.91 average out of 10. So happy days and all that.
Melier getting some praise as well. Some of it slightly tinged with sarcasm. Chris Elvo says Melier actually making some saves, but he did make some saves. Dick Van Shitbitch says, I've been waiting for this for a while, Melier. But it was he did some good bits when we needed him to. So well done. Do some more of it. You almost forget, like, I feel like we quite often come up against keepers who seem to be having the best game of the season against us, and then the opposition will have one shot and score, and we're like, oh.
I don't think we've had that as much this season. We've had some hilariously bad goalkeepers. Watford, for example. I actually didn't think the Borough keeper was that great either.
Would you have saved that Dan James shot? Would you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Would have shown him onto his weak foot.
I'd have probably got sent off. Probably would have just ran at him and clattered him.
Dive at him. Good one from some philosophy here from Mal Falcon on the likes column. Remembering what an actual competitive game of football can feel like. Yeah, I buy into that. There is a Japanese adage that is perfect for Tanaka's performance. The stream flows quiet, yet shapes the rocks with patience. There is power in calmness.
Read the last bit.
I completely made that up, but you believed it, didn't you?
Fair enough.
It's quite good, that.
Yeah.
Right then, so we need to pick a Ken Bates villain of the week out of that. Distill your data there, gentlemen.
Oh, Michael Brown gets a nomination as in former
Leeds United midfielder.
Leeds United plodder.
Legend.
I'd call him a plodder, but fine, because he thought it should have been a penalty.
Yeah, he got a bit of grief on the Daily Email, as did Danny Mills. He was moaning about it, and then for some reason...
Noted media intellect.
Yeah. And then decided to name drop that he's friends with Martin Atkinson. Big flex.
Oh, yeah. kind of a big deal.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to message Martin Atkinson after this.
I'm not entirely sure which one Martin Atkinson is.
He's the referee, isn't it?
I know, but I know he's a referee. I mean, which
Mr. Bean.
Which one he is? Ah, okay, yeah, I recognise him. I didn't know he was friends with Danny Mills, though. That makes me think even worse of him.
Right.
You shouldn't be friends with referees. It's unprofessional.
Was he joking, though? Did Atkinson ever send him off?
No, he said he was going to message him after to ask him about the decision to give a yellow card against Dykesteel for emptying Joe Rodon. He said Solomon pulled him first or whatever. Who cares?
Right. Yeah, but he's got to have an opinion with the capital O, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think Michael Brown's crimes are fairly substantial there. I think so. Just having looked back at that, I can see the argument for it being a penalty because there was contact. But also, if you watch it from the south stand camera end and you see where the referee is in shot and he's watching it, the Middlesbrough chump takes an extra step before he falls.
Yeah.
So he allows himself...
It's both a foul and a dive. There's contact, but he also dives.
They would argue that you've got to exaggerate the contact in order to get it these days. But I think that's what has genuinely hindered that penalty appeal because he made it look too theatrical.
I think it's also...
And he screamed as well.
What increasingly makes football very difficult to watch.
Yeah.
That you see people just... Because I feel like a foul should be something that actually stops you moving in some way. Whereas it's now like if you feel a thing or if you initiate it yourself, like when the sort of Harry Kane leg dangle and they go, oh, well, there's contact. Well, there's no, is there?
Yeah.
Book them.
You want to see bruises and blood, don't you?
I do ideally, yeah. I want to see a very, very high bar for penalties. I want to see Lubowo Mikalik dislocating spines and things before a penalty is given.
Wow. Yeah, so that feels like a leading candidate for me. Michael Brown daring to go against his years of heritage at Leeds.
I with a blog out today about George Edmondson, who is the Borough centre-back who celebrated in front of the South Stand at 1-1, and I spent the rest of the game thinking, I really hope we win and it's his fault. But wasn't he? Played really, really well. And then he did make a bit of a balls up for the third goal.
I was going to say,
passed it directly to Tanaka.
Is he the one who did a very optimistic bit of pointing at the ball after he'd very clearly wiped someone out as well? I think he did one of the... I think it was...
Solomon, maybe.
I vaguely remember it was the most obvious foul he'd ever seen, but just because the ball was somewhere else, he just pointed at it, and the ref was like, "But the ball is there, I grant you, but you didn't put it there, did you?"
And in among that taunting of the South Stand, it was the number 4, wasn't it? It was that, what's his name?
Barlaser.
Bar Arsa is what I'm calling Bar Arsa. That's what I'm calling him. And he was giving it big licks to the South Stand, and then he tonked that free kick.
That was great.
Into the South Stand upper.
I've not seen that back since, but
the conversion.
As you said, it's the only response to that. The only response.
Way!
Is that
It managed to make Max Verber's free kick seem not too bad.
right? So, who are you going to nominate as your leading candidate for the Ken Bates Villain of the Week?
Max Verber. Yeah, Michael Brown.
Yeah, I don't think I can muster any other than Michael Brown. Danny Mills, why not?
Danny Mills had been more annoyed at getting it.
Yeah.
So maybe him.
Yeah. Nah.
Although his chant got reused.
Right.
Didn't it? Was that a Dan James variant at some point, or was that just suggested on the show?
I think you've made that up.
I'm sure someone suggested Daniel James is fucking brilliant at some point as one of his songs. But he's got he's here, he's there, he's every fucking where.
Daniel James.
That seemed to catch on, didn't it, the other night? So maybe that's now the designated one.
I'm actually genuinely really pleased he's got a song.
Yeah,
I was starting to feel for him like on a human level. Like, he must be like, what is it about me that means I haven't got a song? And it's just the syllables in your name. That's all. It's hard to sing.
Yeah. All right. Give it to Danny Mills.
Nah, I don't want to give him that attention and validation. I think it's got to be Michael Brown for me.
All right.
I mean, I didn't see this. I didn't hear it. I'm just going on third-party reports. But he caused me misery as well when I had to watch him hoofing around in Leeds United midfield. Fine with that?
Fine.
Yeah. Just, respect your heritage, Brown. Chump. Right, it's time for the Hero of the Week Award. The Gitano Baradi Hero of the Week Award, sponsored by the TukTukClub.com. Winding mountain roads. What?
Yeah.
Self-driven or chauffeur-driven. Tuk-tuk tours of northern Thailand with a 15% discount by using the code TSB15 on your booking. Run by a Leeds fan, Bruce. And Chris, if you're on the video version, is holding up a tuk-tuk that was sent to us. Made out of a beer can, that.
That's not the scale, is it?
No, they are bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Thai beer can. It's
Right.
nice.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we met Bruce, actually. He was in the Griffin for drinks, wasn't he?
He was. I only said hello and then
Yeah.
went to the bar, and then I thought I'll speak to him later, but then it was busy, so I didn't. But do speak to him for longer if you want to go to Thailand in a tuk-tuk.
Yeah.
North Thailand.
A tour of Northern Thailand.
Specifically.
Yeah.
He's the man I'd speak to.
It's
then.
a chance to see the side of Thailand that few travellers ever see. Did you know that? Anyway,
That's what I've heard.
I got that out. Right. Who's your candidates for Hero of the Week?
I'm not just saying this because it's Tom Numbers who's nominated him, and it is definitely the Tom Numbers, but Byram has to be shout out for Hero of the Week. Played a big part in 2 of the goals and was hardly mentioned on the Sky commentary.
Right.
Which goes to show the agenda against him.
Yeah.
But this tackle was great for the one that it led to. It was his tackle to Pirro to James goal.
Because we're factoring in Derby here as well as Middlesbrough.
Yeah. So I'm going to go for Joe Rodon for
Right.
scoring his first goal. Because we didn't give him man of the match. That was more for Rothwell on Saturday, but I thought Joe Rodon deserves it for his first goal and playing through the pain on Tuesday night.
So Rodon, you're going Byram. I was toying with Tanaka.
Jesus,
Oh,
not
it's
again.
boring. It's boring.
Yeah.
It's boring. Why have you not nominated Brendan Aronson?
For what?
Is it because you hate America?
No, it's you. You know full well.
Oh, sorry, I've got confused. Yeah, it's my job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's not Tanaka. It's
He was good, but he did miss. He had a shot that went out for a throw in, and he did put at least one pass out of play as well.
yeah, he got caught in possession once, I think, didn't he?
Yep.
He did that mad one where he looped it back to Melier.
Yeah, he did. He had a terrible game.
Very, very high bar he set though.
Absolutely useless.
Very
Get him out. Get him
Ampadu
dropped.
get the half fit Ampadu
If we
back
can,
in.
if we can get our money back in January, get this chump out. That's what I'm
Is that
saying.
what you're saying?
It's my hot take.
Right, excellent. Thanks, Michael.
Loan him out.
Really?
Yeah, just get him off the books.
League One?
Yeah, see who'll take him.
Right. What did we decide then? Byram or Rodon?
Oh, Dan James.
Yeah, I have Byram or Rodon won it before though. I feel like Byram doesn't get a fair shake for how good he's been this season. And there's some people who seem to complain saying that he's not been very good, but I think he's brilliant.
I think he's been really good.
I think pound for pound, as well as Tanaka, Byram is one of the bargains of the season. I know we're not going to get a full season.
And we did have him last year too.
Yeah. Bargain. One of the bargains.
We
of
didn't
last...
pay for any from this summer either.
No.
So it just goes to show what good value he
Even
is.
better value.
I suppose technically,
but do you know what I mean? Like,
he
as
did
a
have his contract was 1 year and then it got extended, so he's like a new signing.
Yeah, but yeah, that.
I do feel like Byram's actual probably intended role in the squad was a bit more like Gilivogi's is now, where he's meant to come on for 10 minutes when someone's on a booking or have picked up an injury or whatever. And as it is, he's actually played a lot of games this year, and he's been very good in all of them. And he was good last year too. So
in among a number of high quality candidates, are we going to settle on Sam Byram?
And the tackle was very well appreciated as well. That's another thing that I feel like has maybe lacked a little bit in recent mundane home wins, because we've had
a bit of bite.
because we've had the ball the whole time. There's not even been any need to tackle anyone.
Yeah.
It's just been Tanaka intercepting passes and just taking it off people's toes, whereas that was like he sees the opportunity to do a big slide from 5 yards away and he goes for it and he wins it and everyone's like, yes!
Proved to be basically a match-winning tackle, that, because it set up the 2-1 goal.
It did.
And I mean, he looks equally comfortable on both sides, left back or right back, which is, it's hard to do.
Yeah. And earlier in the season when Rodon was on his 1 game away from a ban, I was thinking, Byram centre back?
Yeah.
I'd probably trust him in there as well.
Yeah.
So it's just nice to have an experienced head, admittedly, on the face of a 18-year-old.
Right. Is that what you go for?
He just doesn't look any different, though, does he?
No.
Weird. Freaks me out a
It's
bit.
the feel-good story of this season and last season.
And last season.
And last season, as it turns out. Sam Byram, then? Are we happy to give Sam Byram the Gaetano Brada Hero of the Week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
He can share it with... He's a sort of nice lad who'd share it with his friends anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He'll
okay.
let Dan James hold it.
Yeah. Right, so we've got Jonathan Buchan coming in from BBC Radio Leeds to do the West Stand
Jonathan.
tomorrow. Yeah, giving him his
full
Sunday
name.
name. Yeah. Or JB, as somebody might call him. I don't know. Maybe his uncle.
Okay, cool.
Something like that. He's coming in to do that. We'll have a chat about covering things from a radio perspective this season, see what he makes of it all. And we're back doing another match ball, another bloody game.
We're going to win again
against Ecky's Preston at the weekend. So we will look forward to speaking to you then. We'll see you soon.
The Square Ball Podcast.